Hi friends, this is Carmen. Welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, welcome. I've got some of my favorite plants for you for the month of January 2023. And I've got a nice little mix of tropical plants that are inside and some succulents that are outside in my patio. Okay, some of these are common or more readily available or been around for, but some of these are rare plants that, you know, maybe you'd have to order online or something like that, okay? But either way, they're all doing fabulous this month of January, and I'm really excited to show them to you, okay? So let's get to it. Okay, so let's start off with succulents that are out in the patio, okay? Now, this one here, it's kind of a 2-for-1. It's a twofer. And I've got two succulents in this pot. Both of these succulents came from the Next Gardener along with this beautiful pot. This Echeveria right here is an Echeveria Neon Breakers. Look how big that is. And this right here, I'll have to put the exact spelling of it on the screen because it's kind of a convoluted name, but it's basically known as an ice plant, and it's really, really cool. I've never had one of these, so I'm surprised that it's been here for as long as it has. I have not killed it, so I'm glad about that. But one thing I wanted to show you about this Echeveria Neon Breakers, you see some of the coloring right here, some of the sun stress. When this has sun directly on it for a little while, more advantageous morning sun on it, it will get a brilliant bluish purple. I have a smaller one out in the patio that I'm going to show you that does get more sun than this one, and it has much more coloring on it too. But this one just gets a little bit, and so it has more of the greenish color with just a few leaves on it that have the bluish purple tint on it. And I think that's just beautiful. It's a very hardy Echeveria. All of my succulents out in the patio, I water only when they are dry. I use a moisture meter to test them to see how dry they are, and when it is in the red that says dry, then I give them a good watering until the water comes all the way out. This particular pot does have a little ceramic tray on the bottom of it to catch the water, but I just let it run thoroughly through. And you know, I got a really big shipment of these succulents from the Next Gardener, and they have really lasted me. I think I've only lost one or two. So that is pretty much how I'm keeping all of my succulents out there in the patio, is just letting them completely dry out, the soil completely dry out, and then just water them thoroughly where the water comes out the bottom. They are in soil from the Next Gardener, so it is a very fast draining chunky soil with a lot of pumice and stuff in it. But they do sell that at the Next Gardener. But I have a video coming up very soon where I'm going to be showing you how to make your own succulent mix that you can use, okay? So stay tuned for that. But this right here, this Echeveria Neon Breakers and this ice plant are some of the plants that I am just loving out in my patio. Be careful with it. I've shown you this one before, and I've had it for a while, way back in Phoenix, and in my apartment I had it. But when I first got it, it was about this tall, okay? And look how much it has grown. This is the Euphorbia lactea dragon bones. I love this plant. It is so unique, and the coloring on it, the growth on it, it does look like weird bones. But, you know, it gets that way, it maintains that variegation or that whiteness to it because of the sun hitting it. It gets morning sun, and you know, not that harsh afternoon sun. So the morning sun is good enough. It does have a few branches down here at the bottom that are a little bit more green than I'd like them to, but you can see here, these here are the ones that are the newest, and they're coming out nice and white, which means it's getting enough sun. This green one here, I believe those grew in when it was at my mom's house, and it did not get the amount of sun that it gets now. But again, oh, it's so top heavy. This is the Euphorbia lactea dragon bones. I let it dry out completely, just like the other one, and before I water it thoroughly. It's in a terracotta pot. It's getting that nice patina on it with the minerals on it, and I've got some rocks in there to kind of hold it steady because these can grow very tall, and to keep them from wobbling around too much, I've got those in there, and it just kind of looks nice too. Those are actually from my old apartment, the landscaping there. So I love this. Now I do have a Euphorbia trigona outside that is going to need some propagation because it's got some burnt tips on top from the freeze that we got. So again, I've got a video coming up for succulents that I'm going to be doing a propagation on that too, showing you how to deal with euphorbias, because remember friends, euphorbias have a milky substance inside that can be toxic. So you want to be very careful when you do work with them as far as cutting any of the little branches off to propagate. And I'll go over all that with you in that video, okay? So stay tuned for that. So now let's move inside to the plants that I'm really loving right now inside. Now I mentioned some that are a little bit more commonplace, readily available, and there was a time where this plant was not readily available, where everybody was after it. This is the ZZ plant, and I'll put on here the exact full name of it. Euphorbia, you know how it is. That's why we call it the ZZ plant. But this one here, this has grown immensely. This stem right here, this branch right here, has grown immensely, and this is the newest one. Look how nice and light the new leaves come in, and then they get this darker green here. But right here, you see that? That's the next stalk that's coming out. And then I just noticed as I brought it in, it's got a little bitty one right there. And that's the third one that's coming in. So the ZZ plant, I really let dry out because ZZ plants have these rhizomes inside, and I'll find a picture for you and put it here so you can see what I'm talking about. But they have these rhizomes inside along with the roots that really hold water for the plant. So it's not necessary for you to keep this plant constantly moist or evenly moist or anything like that. I let mine dry out. Again, I use a moisture meter to see if it's dry, and then once it is, I water it. It does have a hole down at the bottom, this pot, and this pot is from Jofami. I'll link it down below. And you can just let it dry out, water it completely, and then let the water run through. It is in not very chunky mix. It's not my regular aeroid mix. It's not as chunky as that, but it's not quite a succulent mix either. Although you could probably put this in a succulent mix and it would do fine also. It's right over here in my dining room, and it gets some morning sun that kind of comes through the blinds. There's some dappled morning sun, and it seems to be loving it because it grew from just a tiny little 4-inch pot that I bought it. I think it was $8.99 or something like that. Remember when these were so expensive? And it has been growing tall and new leaves and everything. So my ZZ plant is just loving it, loving life. There you go. Okay, so that is my ZZ plant. Okay, so the next one is an aroid, and it's a tropical plant. It's not as readily available. I haven't seen this one in the big box stores. This one came from, this is one of my Green Spaces ID plant from Indonesia, and that is the Monstera adansonii variegated. Now I'm sharing this one with you because since I've had it, oh, let's see now, the 3 months or so since I've had it, it has really been doing wonderful. It sits back over here right next to the ZZ plant and the other plants that I got from Green Spaces. Gets a little bit of morning sun. That is what maintains the variegation on it, but the leaves are coming in so big and so variegated. It's wonderful. Look at this one right here, friends. See if I can get it in view for you. Isn't that beautiful? So it's gotten these 3 new leaves since I've had it there, and it's already, I can feel, this is the last one that came out. I can feel right here the next one. And it's just on one stem, see one vine there, that it's growing, and it's just doing beautifully. Much better than my regular green adansonii, who I've relegated to the outdoor, the patio out there, because although it doesn't have any mealybugs on it anymore, I don't trust it. I don't trust it not to get mealybugs again, so I've left it outside, and it seems to be growing, but I don't want it anywhere near its cousin here. So this Monstera adansonii variegated is just doing wonderful this month. Hasn't missed a beat. Look at those fenestrations on it, nice and big, and I'm just absolutely loving it. It is in a little 4-inch nursery pot inside this other pot, and this is also from Jafami. So the last one is a Hoya. I'm really into Hoyas lately. They've just been doing so wonderful here in Florida for me. This one is in my bedroom, and it hangs in a south-facing window, and it gets pretty much direct sunlight. Well, it's in front of blinds, so it's kind of dappled. But this Hoya pubicalis, look at how it's doing. It's growing nice and long there, that stem, but look at these brand new leaves that are coming out and the sun stress on them. Isn't that just gorgeous? I am so in love with this plant. Beautiful, beautiful. And I am really hoping, I check it frequently, I'm really hoping to get it to bloom. It's never bloomed for me, but I'm hopeful. It's never been this beautiful before, and I've had it, oh, 1.5 years or so. Yeah, I think I got this at Plant Stand of Arizona when I was still out there, and it's just loving that south-facing window with that direct sunlight on it. So I'm very hopeful that it will bloom for me this year. Because it's loving where it's hanging right now, and you know, all circumstances are right for it to bloom. But it looks almost like 2 different plants with the older leaves and the newer leaves, that sun stress on them. It's just gorgeous, isn't it? Okay. So there you have it, friends. Those are the 5 plants for January that I am just totally crushing on, and they're doing wonderful. You know, people have been saying that Florida's been good for me, and it has, and I think Florida's been good for my plants too, because they're all doing really well, and that makes me happy. Okay, so if you enjoyed this video, friends, please do give it a thumbs up. That helps me out so much. And let me know down in the comments below which one of these is your favorite plant, or if you happen to have one of these plants. That would be wonderful. Maybe give me some tips on how to get my Hoya to bloom, okay? Thanks so much, friends. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. Remember, I've got some more Shop With Me videos coming up, and that succulent repotting and succulent mix video coming up also, okay? Thanks so much, friends. Have a blessed day. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye now.